everyone. Welcome to the Kialo workshop. So I've wanted to do this for forever, basically, because I saw Kialo a long time ago, and I know other institutions that use Kialo, and it's a free tool. And I'm always looking for alternatives to asynchronous discussions for student engagement. And because, they could just get monotonous. And I piloted Kialo for the first time in OTCD 2.0 last summer. And it was interesting. And I didn't really give anybody a whole lot of direction about how to use the tool. And it worked. It worked just fine as a participant. And I'm going to show you what Kialo looks like in Canvas. And I'm going to show you the basics of how to set it up. Kialo has an integration with Canvas. Yesterday, our instructional technologist, Daniel, installed it, and it looks like it disappeared. And
Well,
so I was
that's
like,
not
this
good.
is, think I know why, Daniel. So
Why?
I think somebody made it disappear.
Oh,
So I went back in today because I really, really wanted to show you the Canvas integrated version of Kialo because, right, it just makes everything easier when it's integrated in Canvas. And then I couldn't find it. And so I went in through my admin rights, which are very rusty. I haven't done that in a long time, and tried it all again. And I realized that Kialo wants data about student submissions and stuff. And I was like, oh, I bet you any money that people on the DNIS side saw that and were like, yeah, no, we're saying no
hmm.
on this, and they probably deleted it. But then I decided, well, why don't I just uncheck some of these boxes and give Kialo very limited information? And then it still won't show up. So, long story short, I'm going to see about this integration. Daniel and I will see about this integration in Canvas, but you can still use it even if it is not integrated in Canvas. Since there are no AI components to Kialo, there's no risk of breaking any rules. So this is an example Kialo that I have embedded in Canvas on a page. And Kialo starts with a thesis, right? So it's all about debate. And you can keep it very simple, just like this, just a single thesis, and you have your students debate and pros and cons. And I made the mistake initially of forgetting to allow students to comment on each other's pros and cons. And then an hour ago, I'm like, oh man, I forgot to enable that. So I asked my teammates to come in really quickly to make a comment just so you could see what that looks like. So this is essentially what a Kialo debate screen will look like embedded in Canvas. Students do not have to have a Kialo account, which is also very nice that they can just log in. You can't see that screen because I logged in. When I came in here, I gave myself a name, just right, just call me Ange, or Angela. I don't remember what I put in there. And the students can participate with whatever name, they put in there. You can give them instructions. Please use your first name and last initial, whatever you want them to do. Okay. So then the students go ahead and either enter a pro by this plus button, or they enter a con with this plus button. And students can comment on each other, pros or cons, by that comment button right here. So we see a comment here under Miggy Roo. I clicked that. And then where's my comment? Oh, there it is. So you can see a comment here. Students can put a heart. Okay. Um, I can close this. But the students can, so it's like a discussion, but it's a debate-based discussion. It's pretty simple, but it just gives a separate sort of visual situation than you have in a typical discussion board. Let me see if there are any questions so far. Oh, thank you, Laura, for putting that link. Here's what's also wonderful about Kialo. So if you go to kialo.edu or just type it in a Google search, you go to this page, which has a wonderful set of information. It's a huge guide about how to use it. How-tos, all kinds of things about, you can set up grading. It's easier with the LTI, and we will get back to you on that about the LTI, whether we can use it or not. I'm going to say 50-50 on whether DNIS will let us use Kialo as an integration into Canvas. But if it's not integrated, if we can't get it integrated, then we'll make a separate video about how to grade Kialo posts so that you can have that. And we'll put it in our YouTube channel so that we'll link it so you can find that video easily. You can also click here and see what it looks like to have a class debate. In Kialo, you can give background information. This would be wonderful for a case study. So if you wanted to present your class with a case study and then give them a thesis of what should be done as a result of that case study, right? And have them argue, right, about whether that is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do and why. So that's where the background information would be really helpful in those types of situations. You can even include information if you're teaching students about ultrasound or x-rays or different types of testing and the next thing to do in that situation, or a treatment plan for that particular patient, fake patient, obviously. You can use this type of forum for that. And it would be really interesting to see how the students go back and forth about what the right thing to do is. Now, the best situations would be situations that have more than one possible solution, so that it's not right answer, wrong answer. It's this could work. This could also work. What might work best? And how do you know, right? You need to go back to that case study and look at the different information about the patient, about maybe comorbid conditions or blood work, right? I'm not a physician. I'm just basing it on my own patient experience about what a doctor might do to determine a method of dealing with something that I might be dealing with. Okay, so if I wanted to enter this example, so this has multiple thesis statements, and you can do that as well. But I just put one for simple reasons. Okay. So here are the six theses for this particular debate. And I can open this one and see pros and cons. This one has a comment, has a couple of comments. You can include links. You can see a little bit of statistics. There's a sunburst view. I'm not really sure why this would be important unless you really like to see this kind of view. I don't. It makes me feel a little bit crazy, but you never know. So we're here in the debate. You can see it's kind of looks like a family tree. I'm pretty big into family trees, ancestry, and all that nonsense. Not nonsense, it's really cool stuff, but and now I'm back to the homepage. So let's go into how you create a Kialo. So I created an account to Kialo edu.com and I created a free account. And then what I did is I clicked plus new right here. A short name for my discussion. Okay. Why I came up with this, I have no idea. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to leave it as a single thesis for right now. You can give it an image if you want to. I'm not going to do that for time purposes here. You can also give background information. Now, this is where you would put case study information. This is where you would put your fake patient information to give your student background, all that kind of thing. So you can do small groups in Kialo, but for right now, I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to leave that alone for right now until we figure out the Canvas integration or whether or not. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as no groups. And so this is something that you can give tasks if you want to. Uh, but I just leave that, I'm just leaving that alone. Okay. And I also leave this alone as standard participation. And then here are some options. I'm going to show authors on claims for all users, and I'm going to enable voting. All right. And that allows people to upvote what people are saying. I like that because I think that it motivates students to say some profound things, right? And then grading and feedback, you can enable that, but I'm not going to cover that in this particular workshop because I'm waiting to see about the LTI integration. All right, so this is my basic Kialo right here. Now, what I want to do next is go to my settings right here. I want to review the settings. This is what I did not do right the first time. Is I did not click that button, enable commenting on claims. Okay, so you'll want to do that. You can also enable a discussion chat if you want to. All right. You can give it dates and all that type of stuff. I am leaving that all alone and clicking save. Now, the next thing for you to do in order to get this into Canvas is to click the share button. Select enable the sharing link and enable instant access right there. The third step is if you see that little word embed right here, this is what you need to click. This gives you the embed code that you need to copy to go into Canvas. If you've taken any of my workshops before, you know that the embed code is really important when you're wanting to put things into Canvas. I'm going to create a new page. Now, to embed something in Canvas, make sure your cursor, I'm pointing like you can see my computer screen. Make sure your cursor is where you want that thing to appear and go to that cloud icon right there and embed your embed code. So paste it and then click submit and then save. So this is what your students will see when they log in to this page. They'll add their name and they'll be able to join the discussion. Is that pretty clear to everyone?
Yeah.
It's super easy. Um, so let me go back to the modules so that you can see what it looked like with other people sort of playing in it. So it remains embedded within Canvas, so the students do not have to go out to Kialo to be able to play with anything or to be able to read anything or to be able to comment on anything. Okay. And so as an assignment for your students, you would give them direction just like you would for any other type of engagement. You can leave it open-ended if you want to, or you can tell them, hey, I want you to give me one pro and one con by Thursday, and then comment for the rest of the week on some people's pros and cons, ask them questions or whatever. Like, make sure you give them clear directions on what they're supposed to do. I think the students will figure out how to do this without much direction at all. But if you need to give them directions, there are YouTube videos out there that you can give your students to show them how to use Kialo. There's also YouTube videos for you. I mean, you can go to this page, obviously, but if you prefer videos, you can go on YouTube and find them. But this goes through, as you can see, there's all kinds of things. They also give you sample assignments and some tips and tricks and all that type of thing. But do you think it would be fun to use this type of thing as an alternative to a discussion forum?
Hi, this is Trisha. I like this because it's a little the structure I think will make it more meaningful for questions that have pros and cons. I guess this is specifically for something that has a pro con,
Are you
correct?
thinking of something like in your field, like is there something in the, like on the tip of your mind that you might be able to use it for in a course that you teach?
You know, I have to think about it a little bit more because I teach health economics, and oftentimes there is a right answer
Ah,
versus multiple answers, but I can see using this when I have the opportunity, um, when there's multiple directions.
or gray areas or ethical
Gray, yeah.
dilemmas, anything related to ethics. Oh my gosh, this would be perfect. Policy, Kristen put in the chat, healthcare policy would be oh my gosh, there's probably so many things that you'd be able to do with that. So if anybody can think of anything else, throw it in the chat. Hi, Matt. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Gabby. I didn't see you pop in. Nice to see you. Uh, any one of the instructional designers in City, if you don't want to do this by yourself, if you're like, oh, I want to try Kialo in the fall or in my summer course, and you don't want to do it by yourself or you're a little nervous about it, you can reach out to any of us, really. I'll throw our email in the chat just in case, because you never know if people are new. Oh, I sent that to Daniel. I didn't mean to send that to Daniel. City@rush.edu, and you can request help with Callo, and someone will reach out to you and be able to walk you through it on one. And yeah, and I would really hope you would reach back out to me or as someone in City and let us know how it goes for you. Go ahead, Laura.
When I was adding my response, Angela, first of all, it was so easy to do as a participant. I needed like no guidance. Um, I noticed that maybe I was seeing it incorrectly. But as I was typing, was Kialo offering me suggestions for sources that I could cite to support my position? Is
Was
that possible?
it?
I don't know. I saw that there were things that were popping up beneath. I didn't pay close enough attention, but I was just wondering if that was a feature where it was like combing the internet to find. Maybe I
I
was just imagining it, but for
I
some
thought
reason
there
I saw
wasn't
it.
an AI focus. Now I am having to bite my tongue if that's the case.
Okay.
Daniel, did that happen to you? Let me go back here.
You
So
say that
where?
again. I was talking to David Nelson. What was that? What was that again?
Oh no, I just thought that in this, unless I just hallucinated it. I thought as I was typing, I was getting suggestions for sources or resources to support my position beneath the text box where I was typing my con in response.
That's an amazing feature. I didn't encounter that myself
Okay, maybe I
when
was
I was checking it out.
hallucinating. I, or is there anything that's below where you're typing, Angela, or is it just cut off? I can't see because of the tools.
Possible duplicate claims.
Interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's
Yeah.
looking at the claims of other people in this course.
Ah,
And so something that, it may be duplicate. That's very interesting. Hmm. So that's the only thing popping up so far.
Okay, all right. So maybe I was imagining
Or
it
maybe it was
beyond.
your computer. Like, do you have an add-on?
I don't think so. But I could be wrong. I'll take another look. I'll try it again.
Because
I was
that
also thinking potential use of broaching AI in your profession. This would be a good format for for introducing a debate about, say, maybe the ethics of using AI tools in your course or in your future professions, and in what situations should AI be disclosed, that sort of thing. This could be a good format for having such a discussion.
Yeah, that's how I used it in OTCD 2.0 is the debate on using AI in your courses. And so I'll probably do the similar thing if the course runs this July, just to expose faculty to this alternative discussion tool, and do it in a way that, I mean, it is debatable still, right? About AI, even though it's not going to go anywhere, but faculty obviously have opinions about that. But
Yeah, as we speak.
anyway, I thank everyone for attending today, and we will let everyone know who's attended today. If we get to the bottom of the LTI integration into Canvas and as why it disappeared the first time Daniel installed it, and it did not appear even when I installed it, I think there might be somebody behind the curtain that is not allowing some things to be installed, but we'll let you know. And if not, then I'll make another video about how to include grading in your Kialo. Hi, Amarjeet.
Hey, Angela, thanks very much. This was very helpful. I don't do any courses where such things can be happening in debate form, but we have plenty of sort of topics in our domain where we could ask for feedback asynchronously as this is doing. So I had a couple of questions for you. First, this is a more like a debate versus discussion board, if you know what I mean. It seems like
Hmm.
everything is pro and con and not discussion. I really like that so-called family tree that you showed there because that really is quick way of jumping between discussion points or pros and cons. Um, you showed that you can upload images. Can you upload files? Do you know? Like a whole article or something. Um, and then, of course, when you were setting up this new thread, you put down that when somebody logs in, they can name themselves. I guess you can also allow anonymity by somebody not putting their real name. So
You
I
could.
like I like that feature too. So
Yeah,
that was really good.
so for this you can only use images, JPEG, PNG, but in the background information, if you have a file as a link, you can put it as a link. So if
Oh,
you have it in like why is my brain
like on a cloud, for
in
example.
the cloud? Thank you. You had a
Uh,
cloud-based file that you could share it and use it
Wonderful.
for the debate. But yeah,
I
and
guess
even though it is a debate, it's still you still are talking about it because you're able to comment on somebody's pro and con, right? It's it's
well,
still
the
interesting.
reason why, Angela, I raised that point was because in our area we do poster presentations, and with Peg's help, we in the past we have been using something called VoiceThread. I don't know if you
Yes,
guys are familiar with that, but
yes.
nonetheless, that's a great way of showing posters online and
Mhm.
then getting discussion going, where you can sort of like ask questions and get answers back and that kind of thing. And I was wondering whether this could be used instead of VoiceThread, but we need to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, and this is definitely a little different, but I
Thanks.
appreciate this. Well, thank you, everyone. If you use Kialo, let me know how it goes for your students. I think that they would be interested in seeing something a little bit different in upcoming courses. Thank you so much. All right, so I finally figured out what we were doing wrong when we were recording the Kialo video, and I thought it was something on the back end with permissions and stuff like that with Kialo, but I was just doing it wrong. And I feel a little silly now, but I'm going to show you the right way to do it to add Kialo to your course. So here's a module, and if we want to add a Kialo debate, what we will do is we will hit the plus sign, and then here we're going to select external tool. And in the external tool, that's where Kialo is. I thought Kialo was somewhere else. So that's what I've already created. Remember, I created the fireworks discussion, so I can add one of these discussions that I already created. So it would be important for you to already have a discussion created before you do this to add the discussion to your course. But let's just pick this one and select discussion. And this is where you will get all of the options. Okay. And it added it twice. I have no idea why it did that, but I'm going to remove one of them. So it wants to load it into a new browser window, and that's fine. And there it is. Now, there are ways to use Kialo and use the gradebook associated with it, with your Canvas course and all of that kind of thing, and to make it look exactly how you want it to look. In that regard, you can work with an instructional designer, or you can work with Daniel Martin in City, and we will help you do that. Thank you so much.